Hello friends, this video on microorganisms friend and foe part 9 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. So now let us look at the role of microbes in industrial products. Now, as I had mentioned before, that there are quite a few things in terms of the commercial products which are produced on a commercial scale in the industries. There are quite a few things in which microbes play an important role. Some of them are antibiotics and beverages. Antibiotics, they are extremely helpful because they help to cure so many diseases. Beverages, again, a lot of different types of beverages like wine, beer, whiskey. Preparing all those things also need the role of microorganisms. So first, let us discuss about antibiotics. Now, you would have had antibiotics when you have fallen ill. The doctor gives you a course of antibiotic, a set of medicines which he prescribes to take for a particular number of days, maybe a 3 days course. So even if your fever abates in a day or two, but you still need to continue taking the medicine for the prescribed number of days. For example, if the doctor had asked you to take it for 3 days, you will have to take it for 3 days. So if you look at the word antibiotics, so what does it mean? Anti means against. So anti means against and biotics. So bio means something related to life. So you mean the word means against life. Now that doesn't mean that it is something which is against life and it is going to kill us. Instead, it is just the opposite. What it means is it is against bacteria, that is against the living organisms which cause diseases. So that means it is against life, and that is why these antibiotics are against the bacterial infection. So these are chemical substances which are produced by microbes and they kill disease causing microbes. So if you see here, antibiotics are the best example where we can see both the positive as well as negative sides of the microbes. So these antibiotics are produced by microbes, and what do? They kill other microbes which are harmful. So antibiotics is produced due to the good microbes and it kill the bad microbes. So that is how antibiotics are. So they treat bacterial infection. Now antibiotics are very specific in their action. They can only treat infections which are caused by bacteria. So antibiotics are not useful against viral infection. So you would have observed that when you get fever, sometimes you get fever due to some sort of bacterial infection, maybe some throat infection or some other infection caused by bacteria. So at that time, your doctor will prescribe you a course of antibiotic. But if you get a viral infection, that is due to viral infection, you got a viral cold or flu, the doctors will not give you antibiotics. So antibiotics can only treat bacterial infections. They will have no effect on the viral infections. So this antibiotic was discovered for the first time by Alexander Fleming. He was a Scottish scientist, and in fact you will be surprised to know that he discovered antibiotic by chance. So he was not performing an experiment to discover antibiotic. So he was doing some other experiment when he accidentally discovered the first antibiotic, and the first antibiotic which he discovered was named as penicillin. So penicillin was the first antibiotic that was discovered. Now any discovery which happens by chance is known as serendipity. So serendipity. So one example of serendipity is the discovery of penicillin. So serendipity means discovery by chance. So you are not performing your experiments to discover this, but by chance you discovered it. So that is serendipity. So now let us spend some time trying to understand how exactly was penicillin discovered. So because that is an interesting story. So discovery of penicillin. Now as I said that penicillin discovery was a chance discovery, which is often called serendipity. So Fleming was experimenting with Staphylococcus bacteria. So Staphylococcus is a particular type of bacteria. Coccus are those bacteria which are spherical in shape. So he was experimenting with this particular type of bacteria. Now what happened was it was observed that a particular petri dish, so this is called a petri dish, the dish on which the culture is grown, bacterial culture is grown and for experimentation purpose. So once what happened was a petri dish was left open by mistake. Like when he went back home after his work, he forgot to close the petri dish. So it was just left open by mistake. And when he came back later, he observed that the petri dish was contaminated by blue-green mold. So this is the Staphylococcus bacterial growth. This is what he was studying in this petri dish. Now, when he kept it open for some time, and that too by mistake. He did not purposely leave it open, but later he found that there was some mold growth on one side of the petri dish. So this was his observation, and this mold growth was quite visible. And the most important thing that he observed was that this mold contamination inhibited the bacterial growth. So wherever this mold growth had taken place, there was no bacterial growth taking place in that part. So this proved that mold inhibited the growth of the bacteria, right? So what did he get to know out of this? So he got to know that mold was something which was stopping the bacteria to grow. So now whenever we get bacterial infection, why the bacterial infection exists or why it spreads? Because the bacteria continuously keep on growing, and bacteria, they multiply really fast. So that means in order to treat bacterial infection also, we need something which can inhibit bacterial growth. So that is what he could see here. On this cell culture dish, he could actually find some organisms which could inhibit the growth of the Staphylococcus bacteria. So what he concluded was mold released a substance that inhibited bacterial growth. So, and what was mold? Mold was nothing but a fungi. Mold is an example of fungi. So this fungi was actually releasing some substance which inhibited or which stopped the bacteria from growing. So penicillin was named after this mold, Penicillium notatum. So this mold was Penicillium notatum, and after that the antibiotic was named as penicillin. So here if you see, the medicine was prepared from this mold, that is antibiotic was prepared from the mold which is a microorganism, which is a microbe. And this microbe is going to kill another microbe which can be harmful. So that is what antibiotic does. So this is how the first antibiotic penicillin was discovered, and you see how this discovery happened just by chance. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more educational videos with a better experience. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for latest updates. Thank you once again.